Hey there, welcome to 4 Minute Friday, and this week I want to share with you 3 objection handling techniques, 3 strategies that you can use when dealing with sales objections that will help you handle those more efficiently and more effectively and make it better for you and your prospective customer as part of that sales engagement. Now, before I do that, in case you don't know me, my name is Brian Conway. If you've not joined me before, first of all, welcome. This is what I call 4 Minute Friday, as I said earlier, where I take a few minutes on a Friday to share with you some sales tips and strategies that will help you close more deals. This week, as I said, I want to talk about objection handling. It's a major part of any sales conversation and therefore an important part of our skill set to be able to deal with effectively. So 3 tips. The first tip is always acknowledge and just recognize that your customer or your prospective customer does actually have a concern, or they're confused, or whatever it might be, but just recognize it. It's just a great way of helping build that relationship and develop empathy. And if you get too defensive and respond too quick, it can sort of sound a little cold and a little bit more like just a stock answer, and you don't really feel or understand where the customer's coming from. So just take your time. The second thing is always clarify. Never respond or try to answer an objection until you've asked some additional questions just to seek some clarification around where the customer is coming from. You may assume, and this is a fatal mistake, that you understand what the customer is thinking, or what's that motivation behind why they've asked that question, based on your years of experience, if you have it, or the dozens of times if you've had to deal with a similar objection before. But never assume. Always just seek some additional clarification. So just ask some questions. So you may go from, listen, I understand why you might feel like that, and that's recognizing that they have the objection. Can I just ask you a couple of questions? And then just seek some further clarification. And that will just help you answer their concern in a more efficient and effective way. Now, before you do go from acknowledging having a concern to actually answering and responding, or even clarifying before you answer and respond, is one other step. And my third tip for you today is always ask if there's anything else. Just ask if there's any further or additional objections or concerns. You're not going to say, "Have you got any other objections?" but any other kind of questions or concerns that they may have. And again, it's just about putting yourself in their shoes and just empathizing with what concerns they might have. But what is key is sometimes there are dependencies between different objections. I remember once a customer talked to me about price, and we actually agreed and negotiated down the price ever so slightly. Only then for them to say they also had a concern about lead times and how they wanted to get the thing installed and deployed much quicker. Well, the only way I could do that would be to put additional resource on it, which would increase the price. Now, I've already discounted the price, so now I'm kind of stuck between these 2 situations because I already pre-agreed one. Whereas if I'd known that were both an issue, I could have talked about the dependencies between those things and said I may not be able to discount the price, but I'd probably be able to do something on the lead time, and that way I would have maintained my margins and profitability, etc. in the deal. So just be aware of that. So it's always good to get the list of any objections out. It's a win criteria almost. If you know you can address all those, then you know what kind of as I said, the criteria for success might be, and that'll help you move that deal forward. So always acknowledge and recognize that the customer has a concern. Ask if there is anything else before you actually do anything about any of those concerns, and then seek clarification before you do actually answer or respond to, as I said, that question. And if you do that, you'll just find it keeps the rapport, keeps the conversation going. You're demonstrating you really want to kind of help and understand where your customer's coming from. And it's just, as I always say, it's all just about control of the conversation, to linger longer, to take your time, to just get some more details, more facts, more data. Always helps you move the sale and progress the sale much easier in the end. So that's my tips for this week. I hope you found those useful. Please like, share, comment, all that sort of good stuff. It's always useful to get your thoughts and feedback. And until next week, I hope you have a great weekend, and secondly, and more importantly probably, a great week of selling ahead, and hopefully you find it easier to handle sales objections. I'm Brian Conway. This has been 4 Minute Friday. Take care.